Has this ever happened to you?
Oh boy, I just got back from Barnes & Noble, and now it's time to put my manga in the collection. Just gotta put the manga right on the shelf and... Oh no.
If you or someone you know has ended up like this moron, well, I got the solution for you.
Organization. Something I admittedly am not the best with, but I definitely want to change that. So a year ago, I started my collection, and it's starting to get kinda big. And I'm starting to get kinda small.
Oh boy, Davey Wade mentioned.
And because of that, as I add more shelves and get more books, the last thing I want is to have duplicates on the shelf. Because I don't want to be adding books to my cart and then accidentally spend money on things I already own. And I see people on TikTok who do that a lot. It's a really easy mistake to make and one that I'm sure that I'm gonna make in the future. Funnily enough, I have a friend who made that exact mistake. He came over to my house to record our podcast and left me with a copy of My Dress Up Darling Volume 7 because he got double of it. So now I just own this. I'm not even collecting this, but I have to now because I have Volume 7. Still sealed, by the way. I don't know what's in this book. So what's the solution? How are we going to avoid this problem? Well, it really comes down to just keeping track of what books are in my collection in one cohesive space. And I have two methods for that. One of which is making a full spreadsheet about every book I have, along with some other information that I find important. The other is an app that I use to track my books. It works super well. I use it with my spreadsheet, and I think both methods are really solid when it comes to tracking your books. And spoiler alert, I've already made the spreadsheet. I actually filmed myself making it, so we're going to go back in time to before I shaved to watch me make the spreadsheet and break down why I made it the way I did. I got my information from a lot of other creators, I'll link them down below, but I kind of made an amalgamation of the things I was seeing from other manga collectors. Alright, I'm really bad at transitions, I actually don't know how to pivot to the next part. Okay, so I'm here at my computer, I'm going to open up Google Sheets, and I'm going to make a document tracking all of my manga as well as some other information that I feel is important to me. And the reason that I'm using Google Sheets specifically is that I feel it's the easiest to use, and I'm not very good at making spreadsheets, so I'm going to actually learn as I go, which is very concerning because I use a lot of spreadsheets for work. I actually already have a spreadsheet that I use, and I just don't like it. So here's my first spreadsheet, and it works, I guess. You know, it's very simple, title, author, publisher, very simple. But you can see it gets mad redundant because I'm listing the same author over and over again. I'm just listing the volumes 1 through 21. And more importantly, it's not very appealing to look at. So ideally, I would have it look good and not boring as shit. And I'd also keep up with it as I go, and it has some information that maybe I can come back to. Something that I find interesting, you know what I mean? Things like, have I read it before? What specific volumes do I need for the collection? How many books am I at? Things like that. Some of my friends actually have their own ranking systems in their spreadsheets, so I thought that'd be interesting too. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to speed up my process a little bit, and once I have some sort of foundation, I'm going to come back. Okay, so we're back and the color has changed to allude to the passage of time. So here's my new spreadsheet, and it's not finished by any means, but I think it's a good foundation for what I'm looking for. So I've separated my columns in a few different ways, and I'll elaborate what they mean later. I have status, which we'll get to, the series, which book it is, the number of volumes in the series, the number of volumes I own, and I've actually made a percentage to actually show how close I am to completing, you know, this particular series. So for example, there are 72 volumes in Naruto, I own 45, meaning I'm 62% done with Naruto. Next to percentage, I actually have the volume number, and I think it's very self-explanatory, but I mark each box to indicate the number of the volume in the collection. If it's marked green, I own it. If it's marked white, I don't have it yet. Let's use Naruto as an example again. There are 72 volumes in Naruto, so a lot, but I have the last two box sets, so I have 28 to 72, and I just need the first box set, which is 1 to 27, meaning they're marked white. But what I've also done is I've added the omnibuses in the back of that collection. I have 1 through 3 and 4 to 6, and the reason that I do that is because I actually only intend to collect the individual volumes of Naruto. I just own 1 to 3 and 4 to 6. Will I own them in the future? I don't know, but it lets me know that they are in the collection, and you know, going forward I can add more if I get more, but I'm going to get the individuals. That's why they're still marked in white, because I personally want them. Next to volumes, I actually have a few more drop-down menus, just more information about this general series. The first is it ongoing? So again, using Naruto for an example, Naruto is finished, so I've marked it as finished. I can choose to mark it as ongoing, or if some series have actually been canceled, I can let myself know that. That way I don't have to worry about oncoming releases. I can decide if I want to keep collecting or not based off that information. I have to fill this out, but I've added a section for the publisher. Haven't done it yet, but I intend to fill that out. It's just the most time consuming because there's no drop-down menu. Next, I actually have a ranking system, and it's just an arbitrary letter system similar to what you find in a tier list, but it works for me. So for instance, you have Naruto, and I personally rank it as an A, but I have some other options like S, A+, A-, and then every letter is going to have B+, B, B-, C is the same, D is the same. F and under, I don't really care to rank any more than that. Anything that I consider an F is going to be like a 3 or below on a number scale. And then I also have an option to say that I own it, but I haven't read it yet. And though, that's not very common in my collection, thankfully I've gotten better about it, it's still prevalent. So let's say whatever this is here, number 11, it is Vinland Saga. And I own volume 1 of Vinland Saga, I haven't read it, but I intend to, I promise. I'm going to read it at some point. So back to the first column is our status, basically letting me know I should be collecting this is my priority, or if I can do without it. So I've added a few sections here. Finished, letting me know that it's done, I have it all. Priority, meaning I really do want to collect it, this is my main priority. So Naruto, for instance, my favorite manga of all time, it is a priority. Collecting it means it's not priority, but I do want it and I'm going to make an effort to collect it. Meh is just like, yeah, I can do without it. And then there's, I don't want any more of this. I didn't like this series at all. I have the first volume. I don't want it. I can do without it. If I eventually sell it, then I'm going to remove it from the spreadsheet. No harm, no foul. This is what I have so far. I feel like it works, but I think I could add a little bit more information to benefit myself. So I'm going to finish it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain my process. I'm going to explain any changes. And more importantly, I'm going to describe how everything works. That way I can link it in the description for you guys to use. And while I'm working on the spreadsheet, I actually have another way to track your manga that might be a little less tedious. Because you might be thinking, man, that spreadsheet idea is really cool and sick, but I don't have a lot of time and I don't want to do it. Don't worry, I have an easier method. This is Libib.com, and I think it's mainly used for libraries, but you could use it for your own collection as well. And it's very easy to use, and making an account is free, so that's always great. So I'm going to show you how it works. There's an app for it too, and a little feature that I really, really like. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. You can make your own account if you don't have one. So this is the homepage as soon as I log in, and you can see that some of my books are actually already listed out in alphabetical order, which is great, and it actually has the covers of the books, which is a really nice detail. So right here I have Assassination Classroom, Blue Box, Chainsaw Man, my D's, like my Dead Man Wonderlands, my Dragon Ball, and then Full Metal Alchemist, things like that. Even knows that it's the Full Metal edition, which is great, and here are the covers, Hunter. So it's really cool. Very out of date because I have way more books than this. I got all the Naruto books at once, so I really don't want to go in and do it. I have to, of course, and I'll show you how it works. So let's say I want to add a book to my collection. Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Add Collection. So the Collection tab is actually going to let you make categories for your books, which is very nice because you get 100 categories for free. So my categories were actually by publisher, so if you go back to the library, you'll see that mine were listed as Viz, some indie, Kodansha, Dark Horse, things like that. I have some poetry books, so it's very cool. I can separate them and I can search them by publisher, which is very nice. So let's say I want to add to my collection. Let's use volume 17 of Chainsaw Man for an example. So let's go to Add Items. When you do so, you get to pick what collection that you're adding it to. If it's a book, a board game, a movie, you can search it up by keyword or by ISBN number if you have it. So I'm going to search Chainsaw Man. Let's search it. And then it's going to give me, presumably, all of the volumes of Chainsaw Man. And they're right here. Here we go. Which is really sick. But let's say searching these books is going to take way too long. You might as well do the spreadsheet. Well, there is an easier solution for you. So if you use the app, you can actually scan the barcodes directly and it'll add it to your collection. But if you want to do it on a computer, you can buy one of these. This is a barcode scanner, and it's so nice because it makes it so easy to add books to your collection. So for instance, let's go ahead and scan our volume of Chainsaw Man. So I've turned on my scanner, I click search, and I'm going to scan my barcode on the back of the book. And once I do, you're going to see it's filled it in and it's added it directly to the website, and it's so easy to use. And it makes it mad convenient, and more importantly, it's really fun to play with. Like, I've already scanned Chainsaw Man, and right away, I'm gonna scan Zom 100, and boom, it's adding Zom 100 right now. This is real time. It's so fast. Let's pick another book. So I'm going to use the rest of my Chainsaw Man volumes for an example. So here's the page again. While I talk to you, I'm just going to scan the books. So there's one, I got Goodbye Eri, really good series. But I also have these Chainsaw Man volumes that I got, and I'm trying to keep up with them. And, you know, I'm doing a good job. I actually went to Barnes & Noble today, and it was a very small one that was added to my mall, and it didn't have anything that I wanted. I need Chainsaw Man Volume 16. It didn't have it. I didn't even know 17 was out yet. And this is the last book right here, and boom. I've added them all to my collection. It was simple as that. I did it in real time. And let's go ahead and check the library while we're here. Let's check our library, and then let's go to C, and boom, those Chainsaw Man volumes have been added. I think I need some time to refresh. It'll add the covers. But we also added Goodbye Eri, so G, there it is, Goodbye Eri. What else did we add? What else did we add? I don't even remember. We added Zom 100. There it is. Again, it's really easy, really aesthetically pleasing, and it's really fun to play with. I got it for like $25. Really worth it if you want to play with a scanner, or you can use your phone. And if you wanted to keep track in multiple places, you can actually export your library into a spreadsheet using this website. It's just another alternative I think you should check out. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested. And yeah, let's get back to me making the spreadsheet. All right, so it's the next day, and I think that we're done. Here I have the finished spreadsheet. Some of the things are the same, but I've added a few panels. As you can see, I've added an author and an illustrator. I went in and I found the author for each of my books, and then some of them had different illustrators. Some of them were a little unique, like Dead Man Wonderland has, both author and illustrator listed as a conjoined effort, so I merged the cells, and now they're in one. I added a publisher section. Originally, I was going to type in each publisher individually, but I decided to make them drop-down menus. I feel like it's a lot easier because a lot of the times you're going to be typing in Viz over and over again, so might as well just, save the trouble. Then I have volumes in the series versus volumes I own, and then the percentage. That stayed the same, as well as the volume number. That stayed the same as well. So really all I changed were adding the author, illustrator, and publisher, but I added a second page to visualize all the drop-down menus. So on sheet 2, you'll see I added a few pie charts. So I added a pie chart for the status, the rating, publisher, and ongoing, and then you can customize them however you want. I just added these colors. They're pretty arbitrary, but the main cool thing is that I added a table to count the total individual volumes that I own that will automatically update every time I make a change to the spreadsheet. So let's say, for instance, on sheet 1, let's say a Sign of Affection, I have 1. Let's say I now I have 2. So let's make that change. I have volume 2, and I go to the sheet, and now I've added another book to my total. Now it's totaling to 220. But that's not true, so let's go ahead and change that back. And it's really cool because instead of having to count how many books I have, it's automatically doing that, and it's super easy, and I really like it. And I know these charts can look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I need to go in and fix those at some point. But for someone who really doesn't know how to use sheets that well, I think it came out pretty good. Like, I locked in for the last 2 days. Like, I haven't been this locked in my entire life, or at least a very long time. So yeah, I feel pretty satisfied with this spreadsheet, at least for my personal needs. I think if I add anything, it's going to be another page to track each individual book with their ISBN numbers, but right now I really don't need that, so it's totally chill. Plus I have Libib, so not an issue. If you like this spreadsheet, I'm going to leave it in the description below. Just make a copy, try it out for yourself, and if you like it, like the video, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I've also left a link to Libib in the description, that way if you want to try that out, you can. And I'm also going to link my short film, Emily, that came out late last year on my other channel, Clocked Out TV. And also, if you like manga, my podcast is about manga on Read 'em and Weeb, my other channel, link down below. Anyway, yeah, I'm about to outro, so like the video and subscribe. Okay, bye.